Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, November 15th, 2022. Fitzy, I got to ask something real quick. And don't answer this. This will be a little tease here for everybody. I'm sure they want to know. Are you a sock, shoe guy, or are you a sock, shoe kind of a guy?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I was thinking about it this morning. I mean, not like what you do, but okay, now I am kind of curious. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and of course you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. So give Brian a call today. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. Positive Tuesday is also brought to you in part by the Wisconsin Lakes team. It's still a great time to buy or sell a home, and when you do, we recommend our friends from the Wisconsin Lakes team. Anyone can say that they're an agent, but not everyone treats their clients as they would like to be treated, and that's what Aaron and Katie do. You can find out more by visiting them on their website at lakesteamwi.com. Also supporting the show are our friends at Industrial Safety. We all know that Industrial Safety sells and services practically everything that goes into a fire station and on a firefighter, but they also provide kitchen suppression system maintenance, inspections, and installs. For more information about this service and to see a list of all of their available services, visit their website at industrialsafetystore.com. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm really well. So are you a sock? Oh, good morning, Amanda. Oh, and I see Renee on there as well. Good morning. Are you a sock, shoe, or a sock, shoe guy?
Well, I don't put my shoes on right away, so...
I mean, when you do you do both socks first, then
Yes.
shoes, or a sock, then a shoe, then a sock, then a shoe?
Both socks, then both shoes.
You know, I think I used to be that guy,
Oh, yeah?
but not anymore.
What are you?
Well, like 75 pounds ago. You know, 2 socks, then 2 shoes. But now I sit on the end of the bed, and that's what I was thinking about this morning, that, you know, I sit on the end of the bed, and I lift my leg up, and I put a sock on, and as long as it's up there, I might as well put my shoe on. Because I'm not doing it twice for each leg.
I see.
Yeah, so I don't know why that just kind of was in my head. I'm like, am I the only one that does that?
Yeah.
I don't know. And good morning, Larry and Renee. Fitzy, we were off last week. What's new with you? How's things going?
Good. Busy this morning. Lots of cars in the ditch, and first snowfall means we're busy. So
Yeah, there was a crash right outside our house this morning. So Jerusha had left, take the kids to school and then go to work. And it was only a couple minutes later. I was sitting here getting ready for the show, and I heard a horn honk and then a smash. I'm like, oh no. So I was running outside. I'm like, oh Jesus, oh no. And thankfully it wasn't her. And it looked like it was just a fender bender. Someone slid down the hill and just, you know, ran into another car. And
did you put on your honorary police badge and run out there and say, I got this?
you haven't given me one yet.
That's because you live in Washburn County.
Well, okay. I'll call our sheriff's office in Spooner PD and see if they'll give me one. That'd be great.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like you're blurry again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This morning we're having some technical issues.
Yeah, I am blurry again. I don't know why.
It's all right. I just thought it was because I didn't have my glasses on. Yeah, so obviously we were off last week. Other than, you know, the roads this morning, what's new and positive in your life?
You know, not a lot. Yeah, nothing last weekend. Obviously, I won the election, so I got reelected for another 4 years. So
Jeez, congratulations.
that was a tough race.
Yeah. How many votes did you get?
I don't know. I wasn't, Sharon beat me, the clerk of courts, but I had more write-ins than she had. So
Write-ins.
I had 500 what they call scatterings, or
Yeah, right.
or people writing Mickey Mouse or whatever. She
Or
had
Ben
200.
Dryden, or sure.
Yeah, Ben Dryden. So, yeah. So
500.
So technically,
Is that-
I had more.
Is that higher than normal?
I don't know. I didn't look back 4 years ago to see what the scatterings are. Pretty normal. Either, when people, they vote for somebody just to vote, when there's only one candidate. Some people don't like me, so they wrote in somebody else, I suppose. I
Oh,
don't know.
sure. I see. So there'd probably be more people that vote, like the write-in stuff or random things, if you don't have an actual opponent.
Right. So
I
they write
see.
it Mickey Mouse or say,
See?
yeah, see,
Even though you're a
I'm
Democrat.
everyone's sheriff. Everyone's
Everyone's sheriff. Keep it up, Larry. Love those comments. Keep them coming. Yeah, I'm so glad the election is over. Uh,
yeah, it is.
and we have some press releases and articles we want to get to in a few minutes. Convicted sex offender is going to be released in Barron County, I think, tomorrow. Another one about 4 complaints were filed against a 23-year-old. This was in your county. High-speed chase in Barron County results in arrest. And then you had something with law enforcement and DHS director, a joint press release on overdose deaths. So I want to get to those, but we were going to do it last week, and now it's perfectly fine that we're waiting to this week since the election is over, and that is our elections. Our election predictions sure to go wrong, and they kind of did. But I do find it interesting that after all of this, looking at the state, not just Northwest Wisconsin, because that's different. It went all red in Northwest Wisconsin. But in terms of the state, nothing has changed. We still have a Democrat governor and a Democrat attorney general. Republicans still have the majority in the assembly and still have the majority in the Senate. They don't have a veto proof, so it's in the big, from a state picture, the macro, nothing's changed. I just find that interesting. Of all that money that was dumped in and all this, it's just same as it was the last 2 years.
And we don't want to, I mean, that's just ridiculous how much money was poured into these campaigns. And I mean, locally, regionally, nationally, I mean, it's just ridiculous how much money goes into campaigning. I mean, if somebody really wanted to get a hold of it, one, they should work year round. And second, we should limit how much you can spend on a campaign.
Well, we do in one way, but then there's, the soft money and all the PACs. And that's something that, this is ridiculous.
I mean,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
The numbers that were spent, and it's ridiculous.
Our governor's race, I think, was the most expensive governor's race in all of the United States.
Yeah, and they had a primary, and they spent all that money, and then they spent more money, and I mean,
yeah, it was stupid. So here's our elections. Our predictions should have gone wrong. So I have 4 graphics for you.
Okay.
The top 3 in order of points, then the middle 3, because there was 9 people who wanted to, kind of play along, as it were. But first, I'll put up just ours.
Okay. So
again, and I forgot to put a green next to your Ron Johnson number 4, but it still counts because it's a spreadsheet and it adds it up for us. But so that's why I had Michaels and Tony down there, because those kind of go hand in hand, the governor and the attorney general, and so I had those 2 wrong. But that's why I had my least confident picks were down there. For your side, I mean, what is your biggest takeaway? What was your biggest surprise by all of these? And I know that some of them you just didn't know who they were. So it's and because you are a Larry Olson Democrat, I think you just kind of felt like, all right, I should probably pick some Democrats. I don't want to take off all the Democrats in my county. But what was your biggest surprise?
How close the Ron Johnson race was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the surprise that came out of me. I mean, obviously, I wanted Eric Toney to win, but
yeah, me too.
You knew if the governor's race went blue, that one was probably going to go blue. That one's probably a wish. We knew Tom Tiffany was going to blow out that guy.
Yeah, and he did by 24 points.
How close the Ron Johnson race was surprising.
And I would say my biggest surprise, good morning, Sharon, was probably Romaine Quinn not winning. Yeah. But since, you and I both know in the southern part of the 25th Senate District, he was fine. But how is he going to do in Bayfield, Ashland, and whatever the other one is up there? I don't know if he has a little Douglas or Iron or something.
Right.
We just didn't really know. But I was surprised by how much he won by. I think he had it was 57-43. I mean, winning by 14 points. I was actually a little bit surprised by that. Again, not that he won, but I was that was the only one that surprised me. Like Eric Toney and Michaels losing didn't surprise me.
No, we kind of could see that one coming, but yeah, right. And that's why, I mean, I knew Romaine would probably win. I just didn't think it would be by that much either. Yeah.
Well, quickly before we get to the other stuff, here is the list. So these are the top 3 in order of points. I and Jim Miller, he's up in Sawyer County.
Right.
We tied for 52. We both had our number 1 and number 2 lose. It just looks like it was reversed, but like we just talked about, they kind of go hand in hand. And then Mike Schaefer, look at him.
Right.
Mike Schaefer, he got 3rd place with 51 points. And he went Tim Michaels and Josh Call. That was interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. You
No,
can't have that.
no, he doesn't make any sense. Yep. And then here's the middle three: Taylor, Hayes. Same thing, Michaels and Tony, but he had those at 3 and 4. That's why he lost more points. And then, oops, jeepers, Dave Wilson. Where's the button? Dave Wilson coming in at 47. He only had one wrong.
Right.
Except he had it at 8 points.
Right.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Schaefer. See what? Yeah. And then Kirk Anderson, a friend of ours, of course, he had all the same picks actually I did, like all Republicans, except again, that's why the points are the important part. And then, here's the bottom three, or I'll just say the third tier. Makes it feel better. Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yep. You owe me a steak dinner, Mike. I think that's what the bet was.
That's what the bet was.
Now it is anyway. Oh, I wish to have Mike back on. I miss talking to him. Okay. Anything else that you want to add just on the election part?
No, congratulations, and it's time to get back to work. I just want to say thank you to all the people. Even though I didn't have an opponent, it's an honor to serve as the Barron County Sheriff. It's a privilege. I have the greatest team, supported by the greatest community, and I'm just gonna enjoy the next 4 years.
Second best community, I'm just saying.
Yeah, whatever.
There's a better one just north of you a little bit.
That's right.
It's actually where I live, which is really, coincidence.
Right, and so so a lot of sheriffs did retire across the state. So I'm climbing the ladder as one of the longest serving sheriffs in a while.
How long has it been now? 14?
This is the start of my 15th year, 14 years serving as sheriff, and
now you're in for another 4. I mean, we assume, unless you said to retire or something.
Well, unless the governor calls and says he wants to make me the head of something. Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
I didn't pick him on the thing.
No, you would be the most. And I think we've talked. I don't think Tracy Finch and Burnett is going to run again. That's just my feeling on that. So I think she had said that 2 terms, and that's probably it. Now you never know, right? You just never know. I think Brent Walk has kind of hinted at the same thing, that I think 2 terms. Now again, we'll find out in 3 years from now, because it's easy to say, it's my. Dad said it was his last election for his last 3 elections. Now this is going to be my last one.
Well, it's different when you have the support. A lot of people have asked me, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to run again, but who never knows? I mean, I've said this is my last one. I said, but I'm really enjoying it. I have a great team. If my team wants me to stay on as their manager, then I'm staying, and the community wants me to stay, and they vote for me.
Well, 500 people don't want you to, I guess.
Yeah, well, those 500 people, we're going to find out who you are.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks for trying, but I'm still here. So.
Yeah.
Hey, oh shoot! I have a quick question for you before we get into the next stuff. Judges, county judges. If a judge, which I think this is different with Supreme Court, because I have a guest coming on, former Supreme Court Justice Dan Kelly's going to be on this Thursday, and I was talking to Adam Jarko yesterday about something. And it said that he was going to be coming on. And I asked him, but I think it's different in a county if you get appointed as a judge. So judges in counties are 6-year terms. Mm-hmm. If, let's say you get elected and, at any point, let's say your first year, you decide, screw it, I'm retiring.
Okay.
So there's still, 5 years left on your term. A governor appoints that position, correct?
Right.
Then... does that person, I thought for county judges, then you have to do the election the next year. You don't fill out the remaining 5 years, or do you?
I don't know the answer to that.
See, I thought this happened in Washburn County with Angie Winton. I thought she was appointed, and then I thought she had to run the next year. Maybe that was the end of the term. I don't know.
I always thought you got appointed to the end of the term, but I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so since it's been a couple of weeks, we have a few things to get to. So one of them, because it just happened yesterday, you sent this out, convicted sex offender to be released in Barron County. Our headline was on Wednesday, November 16th, so tomorrow. I know we just had one in Barron County not long ago, so we talked about it, but still, it's something you sent out. We always want to make sure we touch on it. Anything you want to add?
No, this is very similar to the one. This is part of the sting operation where they brought people, or people came to solicit sex with a young child. This is a conviction of that. They have to get released back to the county of conviction. I don't agree with that. That's a state rule. We're looking into that because this person lives out of the area, has never been to Barron County, but except to do this crime. Now he has to live here. But I also get that we don't want to get stuck with sex offenders that commit crimes in Milwaukee and say, I want to move to Barron County because no one knows who I am and because I'm a sex offender. So,
yeah, it doesn't really seem to be a win-win on that one.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, I get it, but we're not getting stuck with sex offenders from other counties just because we're in a rural setting and I can hide out in the back 40. Yeah. So that is a possibility to do. So these people have to come here for a while, follow the rules, and then I believe they can be transferred out. But they have to start here, and so what his role is, I don't know what his job or nothing like that is. So. But that has to happen, and I always put those out. Some people don't like that. Some of the people says, I don't want to be out there on internet land, and I said, then don't commit the crime.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right.
So yeah, we've talked about that ad nauseum.
Yeah,
I think at this point.
So
don't commit the crime then.
We let people know about it. I believe we're going to have one more coming up here before Thanksgiving, although I don't have the information about it, and that's coming up very quickly. So
no, I think the difference this one, and I saw an address, but I didn't Google it or anything. That was in the release, the information, the bulletin. I think the last one was going to be homeless, if I recall. Is this one again since there was an address? I assume that means not going to be homeless.
And he wasn't homeless, and that is an address where, as somebody pointed out on Facebook when we posted it, that this is the same address of one of our other sex offenders, and that is a true statement. That address, that person rents rooms to whoever, and they've decided that this is, that doesn't bother them or whatever the answer is. I don't know why. So it is the same address as another sex offender. So it is a rural setting. There's certain rules that they have to abide by, not by schools, churches, daycares, things like that. So this property does fit that description, or the properties, and when they do get released, do fit those descriptions. So, I don't know who lives by there, but they do. It doesn't violate any of those rules.
Sure. Romaine Quinn, speaking of, congratulations, Romaine, on Senate win. Rural areas shouldn't be a dumping ground for sex offenders from other parts of the state. An uphill battle, but definitely needs to be fixed legislatively. Shoot, well, if you're still on, then seriously, how do we? I mean, what's the answer?
Yeah, because we're going to get, once we do that, then we're going to be the dumping ground for Milwaukee people.
Right.
So you have to say that you have to go back to the conviction where you went to commit the crime.
Yeah.
And so, but, it's also not the best for services, the best for, I don't know if this guy has a family. I have no idea what his story is, but some people's, maybe he's got family that he can live with, and then that's probably a better setting than putting him in a rural setting where he doesn't know anybody or doesn't have a job. So we have to be smart about it. But there's many municipalities, City of Rice Lake, City of Barron, Turtle Lake, I believe, have passed ordinances that says sex offenders can't live in the city. There's some rules and regulations to that about parks, things like that, trails, things like that. That's why these municipalities, because they're so condensed, have a lot of parks or daycares. So, but Romaine's right, it needs to be looked at from a probation and parole standpoint. There is a law, but the probation state of Wisconsin passed a rule. We're having some work being done on that with our corporation council, so we will pass that on to Romaine, and he can make that a January 2nd or January 5th, whenever he gets appointed.
Yeah, get to work, Romaine. Jeepers.
Get to work, yeah.
Come on. Oh, that's right. Doesn't take office yet. That's right. Okay. We'll give you a pass on today. We're just gonna and Dawn, I saw your comment. We're not going to put that one on the screen, but good to keep them in one house, and then she has a reason why she thinks they should all be in one house.
Yeah.
But we'll probably skip that one. Not going to put that one on. All right, so moving on. The next one, this was an insider article that we did. Our headline was 4 criminal complaints filed against 23-year-old man. Charges include vehicle theft and burglary. That was quite a lengthy one. There was a lot going on with that, but it was from your county and Barron County. I should have probably printed it out so I had a little more information, but I didn't think about it before we started. So anything you want to add to that, if you recall reading that story?
That is Devin Bernstein. We had a lot of thefts with him. He went on a little spree Why he did that, I don't know. Maybe it was drug related. I don't know the answer to that. But he had a lot of thefts, burglaries. At one point, a gun was involved, the theft of a gun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's just something we caught up with, and we always catch up to you. You might get away today, but we'll catch up with you tomorrow. So um, just I'm glad he was charged, and I'm glad we caught him, and then we got some of the stolen stuff back, and it continues to be it was kind of a bigger case for us because it involved a lot of different properties.
It did, and that's why that was some criminal complaints I could do a little bit faster than others. Maybe it's only 2 hours. That one took about 4 because because I was reading 4 different complaints. Going, okay, hold on, and this okay. So then, how do I tie that into? Yeah, that one was a lengthy one and a lengthy investigation as well. But
Yes.
you're gonna get caught at some point. And
Yep.
for that, I mean, holy cow. There were so many things they did with the thefts, and then I believe that one did have drugs involved, if I recall. Wasn't that the one where it was stole a car, then sold it for like $500 or something like that to somebody else that also took off like some of the money they owed for drugs, to their deal or something. The whole thing, I'm like, jeepers, what a mess.
It gets complicated. So
Yeah, it does. All right. Then this was I think this actually happened around last week when we were about to do our show, and we couldn't do a show last week. I had a dermatology. That's right. Yeah, dermatologist appointment, and then you had some speaking thing. But our headline was high speed chase in Barron County results in arrest, and that's one of those headlines where it doesn't do it justice. Now we don't do sensational headlines, but I'm like, man, like that's most matter of factly that I could possibly put it. But there was a lot to that. So tell us about what happened.
That was we were out most of the night on that one, but last Monday night, about 7:30, a person reported a suspicious male on their property. When our deputies responded to that area, they could not locate the male. About a mile down the road, another person reported a person in their field or in their driveway in a vehicle. Our deputies went to check on that vehicle, and he had went through the area, bahan around through a field and a fence, and then pulled into another driveway. It stole the truck. And then we had a chase with that truck, and that went in. And then he tried to, when he spiked his tires, his tech officer got all 4 tires, which is a good spike. Stopped at a gas station where a person was pumping gas. He tried to get in the passenger seat of that car to steal that car. And that person, then he fled into the woods. We found him using our drone and our canine. So it was a long process over a multiple hours, an event. So
drone stuff, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good.
Wait, first of all, was anybody hurt in any of this?
No one was injured. No.
Wow, first of all, that's incredible. I mean, stealing a vehicle, high speed chase stuff, somebody else not getting hit. The suspect was arrested, but not, injured. Other than I'm sure, like probably I don't know, minor injuries or something. Right. Renee. Okay, there was a little bit of me being scared about doing a solo show, in terms of why we didn't do a show last Tuesday. But so the drone stuff, I don't know if you can get any of this. I'm sure it's an active investigation, whatever. Mm-hmm. But so when you use like the drones, is it just? I think we may have talked about this at one point a long time ago. Like your drones are different than my drone, right? Or I should say my dad's drone. Right? It's not like something you just buy. Right. Your guys' is different. Do you have like different optics or anything, or is it it's just regular camera and we see it and that's it?
Yeah, this is a newer one that we've gotten since we bought that other one. We got a good deal on a smaller drone, but this one you could technically buy. It is a few more thousand of dollars than a regular drone. So, but this one does have a FLIR camera on it, so it detects heat signatures and in the nighttime, things like that. So,
I can buy one of these.
Yeah, well, you can. You just got to spend some money.
I'll take out a loan. Yeah.
Take out a loan. The bank will give you money, right?
Yeah, just don't do it in cash, or they're going to want to know what it's for.
Yeah. So the banks are supposed to do that.
I know. So was that instrumental in this, or is it kind of that was, cool, but, whatever.
It was very instrumental in that, and the fact that the person had went through some water and it was very cold last week, and it went through some water and was actually in the early stages of hypothermia when we found him, hiding and he was hiding because we were surrounding him. We just couldn't find him in the thick brush. Once we were able to find the heat signature, it worked out really well. And that's
Holy cow! You could literally have, and maybe I'm overthinking or what. You could have literally saved his life at the same time. Not only arrest him, but also potentially save that person's life. Hypothermia, yeah, that stuff happens fast.
I think we did save his life. I think he would have been frozen enough, even if we were to leave the area, which we were done because we could not find him. We didn't know if he had crossed a road on us.
Oh, sure.
But we have handheld FLIRs or handheld heat signatures for our squads. The brush was very thick. We couldn't find him, so we tried the overhead drone. One of our deputies said, let's try the drone. And I'm like, man, we already tried all this other stuff. It wasn't a huge area, so he must have been out of the area. And he's like, let's try it. And I said, yeah, let's go get it. We got it. We held our perimeter. We got it and found him. So, yeah, I would agree. Besides the arrest, I think.
You guys would have left and he probably, or there is a chance or a likelihood that wouldn't have made it.
Right. There's a chance that he was frozen enough not to be able to move. So, so it did get cold. But I'm happy for all the assistance we had from the Barron and Steck police departments. No one was hurt. That's the way they're supposed to work, and that's the way it did.
Yeah, I never really look at it like that. I always think of things that would protect, like all your equipment and all your stuff. Like cops like Batman, right? All the cool toys.
Right.
But I always think of like in terms of apprehending someone. I never think about it in terms of saving lives. And if I do, it's usually like saving other people's lives, like citizens or passersby kind of a thing. But I never really thought about it from that perspective or through that filter and that lens that we could also be potentially could be saving the people that we're looking for, their lives.
Right. I think
That's
so.
incredible.
I mean, he didn't want to be found, but we found him. But when we did find him, he was very, very cold, and we got him medical attention, and then he was in our Barron County jail.
Outstanding. Good job.
Yeah, it was.
So another one, I think this came out right before all of this, and I think we were supposed to talk about it last week on the show, but our headline was Barron County Law Enforcement, DHS Director issued joint press release on overdose deaths. So what can you tell us about that?
Well, I can tell you that I was concerned about it, so I had a meeting with all of our police chiefs and our DHS director, and came together and started looking at some of the numbers because the overdose deaths they're spread out from Cumberland to Turtle Lake to Cameron to Barron to Rice Lake. They were all spread out all over the area, and I wanted to come together and say, hey, I know you've only had one and you've had one, but together over the last 2 years, we're at 14 and we had 17, and we had suspected 3 more. We've confirmed 2 more of those, so we have 16 of our 17 are drug-related overdose deaths.
Confirmed.
And so that's too many.
In 2 years in Barron County.
Yes, 2 years in Barron County. And most of them are this year. I mean, I don't know the breakdown. I think there was 5 or 6 last year and 8 this year, or something like that. So,
is there one drug that's more? Is it like fentanyl or meth, or is it just? I don't know. When you looked at all this data, and again, it's not a ton, but it is, relatively speaking, for our area, Barron County, 16 confirmed drug overdose deaths. Is there any commonalities amongst them?
Yes, it's fentanyl. It's fentanyl, and we're seeing more fentanyl. We're seeing more use of Narcan. It is the drug. It's here. We got to be careful. Some of these have been straight fentanyl, which is very, very, very dangerous. And some are, maybe they don't know they're taking fentanyl because it's mixed in with their meth. So there's an issue out there. We're going to continue to have overdoses. I know we had another overdose this weekend, but the person lived with the use of Narcan. I think we had 2 overdoses this weekend, but because of Narcan, they were saved. Without the use of Narcan, they'd probably both be dead. So a lot of people say, we shouldn't be giving Narcan out, but it's a harm reduction strategy. There's a new harm reduction strategy coming out. It's called fentanyl test strips. So you can test your drugs before you take it to see if it's fentanyl in it.
How bizarre.
I agree with that. I don't, but they're harm reduction.
I've never thought about it before. So I mean, how do people get those? Do they go into law enforcement and just go up to the receptionist and I'm joking, but I'm kind of not. Like, how do they
It's
get
going to be a
these?
public health thing. It's coming from public health. It's not going to come from law
Okay,
enforcement.
so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's very going to be somewhat controversial
Interesting.
because,
I could see how it would be.
right, I'm not going to test your meth for you to make sure it's good for you to smoke. I mean, that's not what law enforcement's going to do. But I also don't agree with that. I don't know how good these fentanyl test strips are. I don't know how hard they are to read. If you test the corner of this baggie and the fentanyl's in the other baggie before you shake it up, I mean, I don't understand the liability behind that. I'm not in favor of that. The Narcan I'm in favor of because I don't want to have dead people. I don't want our cops going to dead people. They're tough.
Yeah.
They're tough on families. Um, but we've got to do something. We have a 537 meth number. It's an anonymous number. You can text in and say, we've talked about it before. So use that number. I understand people don't want to get help. And there's a lot that goes into this, but I just wanted people to know there's going to be more deaths. We have fentanyl in Barron County. It's very dangerous. I don't want to, if you touch it, it can be lethal. So you don't even have to smoke it. So we've got to do something with this.
Something.
I want to alert it out there. And the only way I can do is let people know what's going on. I don't have a solution
And I
for
want to
this.
think about that more and get some other people's perspectives as well, because I could totally see. I mean, you know how you and I pretty much, for the most part, we're pretty much in the middle on most things. We can kind of see both sides of just about everything, and I could see how there could be two sides to this. But to use, we haven't been in trouble for a while, so to use an analogy,
Right.
it's almost like, which is not even close at all. That's why it's called an analogy. But like giving condoms to high school kids, right, for free from the guidance officer or whatever. Well, that's like you're encouraging people to go out and have sex. Like, well, no, I don't think that's the whole point behind it. But we also know there are diseases and there's unwanted pregnancies and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, having them test, for their own drugs and
Right.
giving that to them seems like not right. Something's
Right.
off about that. At the same time, if we want to make sure, we don't want to see deaths. And if this helps, okay. As long as it doesn't like encourage, but then again, I think people want to do meth, just want to do meth
Right.
or
I
other
don't think
drugs.
courage. I think we're just going to make people safer. They're going to do
think
it whether
so.
we have the test strips or not. It's just that
Right.
they might be smarter and use a different bag and throw that bag away, which saves lives, and
Yeah.
including cops' lives. Larry put, why are we wasting our funds on this? I don't think we're not wasting any money right now. We're having to do these investigations, which are very complicated. No one wants to cooperate because no one wants to say, hey, yeah, I know Ben was doing drugs for years. I just didn't want to tell anybody, and now he's dead. So now I don't care anymore. I mean, we've got to get to some source investigations here. Our drug unit's trying to get to some of them source investigations, but no one cooperates. No one wants to know. I know of an incident where somebody took this person to the hospital when they overdosed and didn't do anything about it except take them to the hospital. That's great. They saved their lives this month, but they didn't save it the next month. And so, man, could we have stopped it by getting them help? And I understand these people don't want help. They don't think it's a problem, so they don't go get help. But there's tons of people offering help to these people, and they just don't want it. So that's the danger of this drug. I just got an article from Public Health on Sunday that says there's a new fentanyl out there that's not being the Narcan's not reversing the effects of it because it's even more powerful. So then we'll end up with more dead people. I don't have a solution except I don't like my cops going to dead people's scenes because it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of them. It hurts families. We have to go tell families their loved ones are dead, and then we have to do this investigation. So I want to stop it on the front end. How and why and how we're going to do that, I don't know the answer to that yet, but I wanted to make us aware of it so that we're doing something with that.
In about a year or two from now, we're going to be looking back and going, remember those good old days when meth was meth?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I remember when I was a kid, Sorry, I'm making light of something that's serious, but seriously, it's yeah, you had mentioned source investigations.
Yep.
I think I know what that means. I think it's self-explanatory, but can you explain what a source investigation is?
We're trying to get to where that drug comes from.
Okay.
So one, we can determine, a lot of it is there's no drugs left because they're just it's just a little amount is all you need of this fentanyl. So it's very easy to hide because it's very powerful, and you need a dusting of it to get high, and a little bit more than a dusting kills you. And so you don't need very much. So there's not anything left when these people are. So I can't have a baggie. I can't take fingerprints off something because there's no one else around. Because if there was someone else around, they Narcan you and they bring you back to life, and that's what they do. I do it on Tuesday, you do it on Wednesday, and I Narcan you in between. So, and then you can Narcan me. So I get it, but we're trying to get to that source investigation. So one, we can see if it's meth mixed in, if it's straight fentanyl. The last couple have been straight fentanyl from our medical examiner, but I just
We don't want dead people.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't want dead people, and I don't know. I don't have an answer, but we wanted to put it out there. Every chief's dealing with it, so we thought we'd talk about it. It's a big issue, or it's going to be bigger here, and we've got to start saving people.
Yeah. So they walk in and get strips, right? DHS. So everyone knows they're doing drugs. Does DHS, do they notify you guys and say, hey, you may want to follow that person home?
No,
Or that kind of would defeat the whole purpose of,
that is
like, nobody would ever come in and get them then.
right. I mean, that would defeat the whole purpose. And it was the same thing and we haven't gone through it, but big cities have gone through it with the needle exchange. Because a lot of drugs are being done by needles, so that cops thought if we sit outside needle exchange, we can follow these people. It's too much work to maybe, get a drug tip. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I like what Renee is thinking. Now, she said Tony Evers, but that could be applied to Tim Michaels as well.
Right.
Yeah, but all the campaign money to raise rehab and... Yeah, I've thought about that a lot, looking at the what percentages they are, or how much money is going into these campaigns. Like, all the good that we can do with that money, that's ridiculous.
It's frustrating because, we've got to do something. And there is no answer for fentanyl right now. I mean, it's just that dangerous.
All right. And I didn't know this, actually. I feel like I should. Why the flag is not flown half-staff on Veterans Day?
Yeah.
I thought it was, to be honest. But now I think about it, I don't think we got a flag ordering notice. We usually put those up. Is that true? We don't fly them half. I don't know. Ask Romaine. Tell him to get something done. Get to work.
That's right. January 5th, we got a whole list for him.
Holy cow, he's screwed. He'll never come on the show. Hey, on January 6th, why don't you come on the show and let us know what your first day was? By the way, we have a few things we'd like to discuss with you.
We have a list.
All right. Well, Dirk has our, so we know it's about time to wrap it up when Dirk gives us our weather.
He's like our timer.
Yeah, pretty much. So a little more snow down there, cold air on tap. End of this week and throughout the weekend. Highs in the teens. Oof, single digits. Slow down on the roads.
If it stays up in that high teens, it's good for the salt. So it's going to take some time for the salt to take effect on our roads. Our county or our township roads are very slick. The highways are clearing up as the salt takes effect. Once it gets down to that 0 and below, the salt takes a lot more time to work it. But so the roads, give us an hour here. We should have more salt on the roads. They should take some effect. But we had quite a few accidents in the county last night. We hit a lot of deer are being hit, so be careful. Good luck to all the deer hunters this weekend. It's deer hunting this Saturday.
What? No. Hunting already started.
No, deer hunting.
Dead people are telling me they've been out hunting.
Well, there is, but that's bow and muzzle and all these other things. But deer hunting is open on Saturday. That's where you have to wear.
So if it's bow hunting season, and muzzle, like old school.
I don't know.
So if there's a bow hunting, you can't hunt with a gun, like a normal gun.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to all those.
Well, if it's bow hunting season.
Well, it is, but there's muzzle and then there's other things. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for the average gun owner, they can't go out during bow hunting. Now, can a bow hunter go out during rifle season?
I believe so. I don't know if they care how you kill the deer. It just has to be killed.
Just who cares? I don't care. Take out a knife or a fork, whatever. Just kill it.
Jump out of the tree. Right?
Fork season. Yeah. So deer hunting. Okay. So I thought it was already started, but no, like the big deer hunting season with big guns. Cool.
Yeah. The big hunting season. I'll work Saturday morning. I'll go out really early.
Saturday. That's what I was going to ask. When does it start?
Saturday morning. It's at sunrise. It's awesome. Everybody's happy. All these families are together. Next week we'll talk about the big drinking night is next Wednesday night when kids come home from college. Thanksgiving, travel plans. We got a big week. It's a big week for law enforcement, and then obviously we'll be thankful for everything that goes on next week. But deer hunting this weekend. Good luck to all the hunters. Stay warm.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
I mean, I don't like going outside that much anyway, but that's another reason to stay inside. I don't want to go in the woods where a whole bunch of people have guns.
Yeah.
I'll just stay inside.
Orange. Don't wear reindeer ears in the woods this weekend.
All right. All right.
That's what we got. We got a big week, big weekend.
Holy cow. And by the way, I think not next week, but the week after, I think we're going to have, just like last year, our annual doing some ticket giveaways on some shows. I think it starts on the 29th, so in 2 weeks from today on that show for Miracle at Big Rock. I think we'll be doing some ticket giveaways, and I think probably every Tuesday from then until, Christmas, I think.
We got to come up with a better counting system then. Or we got to start over.
Yes, we do. Right. Oh, that's right. Well, that gives us 2 weeks to figure it out.
That's right.
So, which means 10 minutes before we go live, we go, did you do it? No. Did you? No. We got to come up with something real fast because that's usually how it goes.
We'll go back to counting.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a really busy week.
Yeah, it is. It's a great weekend. I enjoy this weekend. Like I said, there's so many new hunters. Kids get to go with dad, grandpa, whoever. I don't hunt, but I've always worked opening deer hunting season for years. It's just a great morning to go from quick trip to restaurant to hear all the big buck stories and see all the smiling faces at 5:30 in the morning.
That is awesome. I went hunting once.
Did you?
Well, I didn't have a gun. My brother went, so I went with, and it was only our neighbor's house outside of Shell, where we grew up, and where our parents still live. But it was only 200 yards away. It was out in the country anyway. So we sat in the stand. It was at 5 a.m, and I'm freezing. And by 7 o'clock, I'm like, this is stupid. So I leave. I go back inside and watch. It was a Saturday morning cartoons, drinking hot cocoa. And my brother didn't make it much longer. And I think that was the extent of all of our hunting.
Yeah, I'm not a hunter either.
Yeah.
So
no, thank you. But please go out and kill them. I don't want to hit with my vehicle. So I'm glad people do it, but I don't want to do it.
We smashed up a squad last night hitting a deer. So
who did?
We did. It's tough when we drive around 24 hours, 24/7. That is our second one this week that we've smashed up.
Oh man, you can always tell it's getting close to hunting season.
So get them all.
All right, cool. Yeah, and then I have so tomorrow I'll be. We have 2 more shows this week. Not you and I, but tomorrow will be Senator Rob Staffsholt coming on talking about wolves and hunting.
Oh, there you
go. He's I don't know.
Hunter?
He's on some. Well, he's a very big hunter. I mean, not a big hunter. Well, he's a big hunter, I guess, too. he's all of those. But he's going to be on to talk about some of that stuff. And then on Thursday is that Dan Kelly. And by the way, right when we went live, I looked at my phone. Do you know who was up in Sawyer? Retired Chief Deputy Rick Chambers. Have you ever heard of him?
I didn't know that.
Oh, well, I just got a message saying that he passed away.
Yeah, I saw that. I think he passed away last week, actually.
No, that's a different one.
Oh, well, no, yeah, Greg Falstich did. But I thought there was a.
Oh, maybe it could be. Well, I just got the.
Right.
So I'm behind.
Me too.
But I just got that message, so I don't think I knew who he was, but they told me to make sure that I tell Dad, so Dad must know who he was. So, thoughts and prayers certainly are out to that family. Too much death, man, all around.
Yeah.
So,
let's go make a difference today.
Yeah, why don't you go out and make a difference? I can't really make a difference.
Well, you can.
I'll try. For DrydenWire.com, I'm Ben Dryden, and you've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With nearly 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the outside and on the inside of your home or business. So give Brian a call today. The number is 715-520-2271. As I just mentioned, I'll see everyone tomorrow when I'll be chatting Wisconsin's 10th Senate District Senator, Mr. Rob Staffsholt. And again on Thursday when I will welcome former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Dan Kelly on for the show. Fitzy and I'll be back next week for our latest huge, embarrassing failure of a show. I mean, Positive Tuesday show. So until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.